Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to the original version, the old version of ReThink. So we had basically gone through a full circle here, and we're back to a very recognizable older iteration of puzzles in puzzle 27, 28, and 29, in that all these puzzles have to be solved, 27 and 28 have to be solved correctly so you can solve puzzle 29. But in between, in the original version, getting to this point, we've done a lot of platforming, and we have this entire room that it seems like we're going to eventually reach, and there will be more platforming here. There's also see through the ground places, which, I mean, these are all things that I really would have liked to have seen in the remake of the game. There's story in the original version. It almost... The insanity is just really high, because I have no idea what ReThink Evolved is, really, and that's a big problem. I don't know if it's the game with just remastered graphics, but it's still the new version of the game. I don't know if it isn't the original version of the game with remastered graphics. I don't know if it's something completely different, and it only gets crazier when we know that there is a game called ReThink Lite also. So, and that doesn't even touch upon ReThink 2 and ReThink 2 Evolved. In this original version, the three-way split is not going at a 45, 90, and 45 degree direction. It is straight up going in 90 degree directions, which means the solution to this puzzle basically has to be different than the original puzzle, and that would need to be red, and that could be blue, but if that's going to be blue, then that would have to also be blue, so more than likely that's just going to be purple. Having only one cube that goes at 45 degree angles does change things quite a bit. It limits the number of spaces where it would make sense for you to place a lot of these items. Let's see. If we were to shoot purple this direction, we could use a block here. The first step, and I can already tell that these puzzles are way more difficult than the previous puzzles. We spent the last episode breezing through some very easy laser puzzles. Yeah. I think the move probably is to just solve this puzzle first and deal with other things later, and so not really focus on this as much as we just need this one purple powered. So let's just do the basics on that. This purple here, or this blue here, could go here and here, and imagine should go here and here. We could get this wrong, certainly, and do that. And that will just open the door. And so let's just think that way. We've walked through here, we lose our pieces, and our piece then would just get reset with this three-way splitter. So let's just pick up everything we didn't use and then walk through the door and solve the next puzzle and then come back to it. There are no three-way splits here on this puzzle, so that is going to allow us to kind of figure this out. But yeah. Well, probably need one there and one there. And not that, but that. Okay. So this solution may be a little bit easier anyways, in that these two toggling greens really just hit each other, and very possibly if I just send this out, we have green being more consistently powered, then it would just come down to red and blue being merged together. They may very well just be almost separate completely here. And there isn't really that many options. We either combine here and do this one purple, which that turns off one of two barriers, or we split. Which, let's see how a split would work there. Split hits nothing in those directions. It's nothing in those directions. Would hit those in those directions though. So then you got your purple going that way, and you've got a purple going this way, which maybe means you're supposed to go that way, because then there wouldn't really be anything to do over here. The problem though is that this toggle and this toggle are not hitting that spot or that spot or that spot consistently. You need the toggles to hit. In that orientation, you're not hitting anything. And in that orientation, you're not hitting anything. And in this orientation, you're only hitting one thing. So all logic would say you should go this direction. Maybe you don't need this. And maybe you don't need this. If these were split in some way, that wouldn't do anything. If this was split in some way, it wouldn't do anything. If I split my signal in this direction, maybe it will do something. That doesn't hit. I really wish there was a easier way to really learn the angles. I think it probably is something as simple as there needing to be diagonal X's on the tiles instead of the tiles being linear. Or the tiles themselves could just be little triangles instead of squares. So just take an X, put it in the middle there, and then you can follow the black line. But even in that, the reflection, the rendering there wouldn't look right. Let's see. We could hit that. And then maybe hit that. And that has solidified the green. But then it's not sending a green out this direction. But the gates are open, so maybe I should just leave it at that and not worry about it. There is also a possibility that the toggle is just the right move. Yeah, since we know that the solutions here are different, at least slightly, I will again choose to just walk to the next puzzle and we'll start working on that, and then we'll recursively decide what we need to fix. So we're now the puzzle 29. This may be very easy in that in this case we can literally just place pieces here through the glass, where you couldn't do that in the new version of the game. And it is also just pointing the color that you want, so it's pretty obvious. Also means we can pick up pieces, which, okay, we have 8, 2, 1 pieces now in this puzzle room. When I walk through here and it resets, and I reset back here, we have 8, 2, 1. So the pieces can straight up move. So I had this feeling in the original version of the game that there was this possibility that maybe having extra pieces left over would have a major extra value later on in the gameplay. Why is... oh, this is just coming from that side. And I could see that, certainly. I could see placing pieces and solving this puzzle by using the sources and transmitter here, and then getting extra pieces to solve the more difficult puzzle. Like right now we have no yellow, so we would need a red and a green. And we'll need that. Three-way, maybe on the blue. No? We have a three-way splitter, and I'm kind of uncertain where we would need it. Maybe there. Maybe to send a green. Well, no, green wouldn't go that direction for any reason. Maybe to use a splitter. Well, that sends it that direction. if I put the three-way splitter here and sent the blue back to solve that puzzle and send the red to go that direction, that doesn't make much sense. That too doesn't make much sense. This direction, unless we're going to hit it diagonally. Let's see. Do we hit anything diagonally with these? This position? Nope. At some level, this feels cheaty. No, cheaty's the wrong word. It feels untested. It feels like the original version of this game felt like it could just come out perfectly fine as is with a minimal amount of playtesting, which still for a puzzle game may be a massive amount of playtesting, but not as much as something like Portal or your average puzzle game. How can we do anything with blue? We really can't. So blue would pretty much do that. It'd have to be merged into that. And then yellow would be red and yellow. So to get red and yellow in there, we'd either have to hit a diagonal that would hit that. Yeah. So now we just need red coming in, which we absolutely need our red source to come in. And at which point the red source needs to split in a couple different places. So now I'm kind of just solving the puzzle in my mind instead of actually seeing the light. Yeah. And I would say it's questionable whether we even need another green or whether we just want a solid green, because this one solid green may be doing enough. The only panel that's not enabled right now is the yellow and the orange, which all of that may be solved with just the red. So I'm going to put the splitter here, and then I'm going to run through here and very possibly just ignore the entirety of this puzzle. I will put one piece here just in case I need to grab it. Nope. Slight problem here, isn't there? Okay. I can't go back until this puzzle is correct, which means I need to just burn this back that way and place that there. So this puzzle may just be the middle ground puzzle that needs nothing changed. We have all of our pieces that were extra and this extra piece now. And so we knew we were going to solve this puzzle the wrong way. Enough that we can just kind of reset the whole thing. We do know, however, we also have to solve it the right way. There's no getting around that. So how can we get red to start with? We can do that. And then that has lit up 3 out of the 4 puzzles on that side. And then how do we get blue? That goes to purple. Why, though, does this become purple? That doesn't make any sense. What is making this purple? Something must be shooting blue back. Must have shot blue back into it. Because it shouldn't have been that way. Yeah. That feels a little buggy. All four of those puzzle pieces are now solved. So now we just need red once again to solve this part. And this is where it's gonna get a little complicated, I imagine. But it may not be that complicated. We can just hit what we're aiming for. Where's the red beam coming from now? Yeah, this is crazy. Definitely feels like it's just glitching quite a bit. Okay, this red goes that direction. So we use the 3-way splitter, and then that sends a red this way, which sends a red this way. Which is diagonal, which then reinforces this and this. So more than likely this is the right solution. I will put 1 cube there in case I want to grab it, and then we will walk through here. I do want to experiment with whether I would have been able to grab this cube. Nope, that is too far away. Anyways, so then now we have 1 cube here that we've brought back to this puzzle. And I really have to question whether I needed to move a cube from puzzle 29 back to puzzle 27 to solve it, or whether I just did happen to do it, or in this setup, assuming that there's not some glitching going on, we've got a purple going straight here, And then we've got our red coming in here, going 3 ways, bouncing around here with the green to make yellow, bouncing around this direction, merging with the green and the blue to make pure white, and then this green is getting split there. And it does just feel like the solution for 28 that I figured out is probably not what was intended. They probably meant for me to instead have a toggle piece here, but even if I did put 1 cube extra here and the greens were toggling back and forth hitting this splitter, nothing else really would have changed, and then I still would have had 1 extra cube even for that solution, or 3 extra cubes, which, yeah, unless there's some secret here, or we take our 3 extra cubes with us, that is probably more of a matter of pride than anything else. Now we're up to puzzle 30, and thank goodness, at least for puzzle 30, it's still just a laser puzzle. Although noticeably, we've got to find our cubes first before we can do anything else. Yeah. The small amount of splitting here. Let's start by pointing this way and seeing if that hits 2. It does. Whereas if I went that way, I wouldn't hit anything. If I went that way, I wouldn't hit anything. It'd be funny if putting a laser hit one of these signs, but these signs are in between panels, so it's not likely that would ever happen. That would only hit 1. So those 2 feel right. Let me put another splitter here and see if that would hit that, and that would hit that. Yes. So that feels right. So we have 2 transmitters and 1 3-way. That gives us solid blue all at those sections. And then that solves it. This is another one of these puzzles that would probably look fairly nice if you were looking directly downward from it, which highlights where the catwalk concept might play into nice things. That I found that very disappointing in Portal 1 and Portal 2, that you barely for a second or 2 got on a catwalk, and it didn't really connect to anything, and you didn't really get behind the scenes as much as you would like. And yeah, this sign could point in either direction, however you would want it to look. Weirdly, you're making a symbol here that doesn't look too different from a symbol in an anime called Berserk that I don't know what it's supposed to really represent more than it's a curse symbol representing evil. But yeah, there's only a few different symbols you could do with this. You could make the Tree of Life alchemy symbol too with those shapes, but I'm not sure most people would even recognize that, particularly if you're up close and personal with it. So looks like we went up in an elevator to go to another room. No, we didn't. We didn't get in the elevator. I think we're going downward. Which would make sense because that central location still hasn't been handled. But that central location also was promising potentially a lot of jumping. Still don't have the middle mouse button options. Everything here is just in orange mode. I kind of wonder if maybe I had pressed the middle mouse button when I left level 20 or 19, whether all this would have just been in blue. From the looks of it, we are going to have blue and orange barriers. And, yep, a heck of a lot of platforming. But we may be somewhat safe in that we can touch the ground and not reset anything. It's only this circle here that resets things. So this could be fairly easy to hit all these, as long as we're either taking our time or just not falling off the higher spots and not having a way to get to the higher spots. Of course, the first move that would make a lot of sense here is to make sure that there isn't some other secret. And land the long jumps. This is where it's going to be really difficult to sit. You're going to want to probably start here and just long jump. That way. And I don't know what I reset there. I must have hit the edge. No, there's a specific pattern on this too. So it's worse than I thought. So I wonder if there was more of this, like more of a holographic upward vision to everything, if that wouldn't help, because it does feel like there's a fairly high danger of hitting a platform and not realizing that hitting the platform was the wrong platform. That's good. That's good. That seems like that's good. Still seems 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 good. What's down here? That's just straight up leave the central area, and then a little bit of load lag noticing there too. I think everything probably reset there. It does seem like you could possibly cheat some of this. And mess up and then get back up where you need to go. But it definitely also feels like some of this is not going to make it easy on you. Ah, jumping up and not hitting it. That's one way to fail, certainly. I think that's part of the problem here we're going to run into, is that I don't think I can hit this one spot. If I do hit this one spot, I'm going to have to jump back around. Before we go any further, let's just hit this and see what this does. This gets us on an outer rim of the platforms, which maybe gives us a idea of where to start. Not doing much really to give us an idea. It also, I guess, gives us a nice visual location of where to start. But even with forward momentum, just the minimal amount of forward momentum, you're probably missing some of it. You're not going to be able to get where you want to go. So I question heavily whether I'm supposed to fall down to start at a spot. I could try something like that, but I'd probably have to do just like a diagonal fall. Yeah, I'd have to be a full cube behind. And I'm too determined at this point to skip this and just move forward in the game. Okay, so full cube behind, managed to land there, there, and there. Now I need to get up there safely and get up there safely. We'll fall on that. And we'll fall on that. Yeah. The question is, how do you hit that one? This probably has to be the first one you hit. So a sneaky start position where you cross all the way over to this, and then fall off that way, that way, that way, that way, that way, that way. We run to hit that, and that. And then this is somewhat risky. Here, 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 and here. And here. And there. I could see this becoming annoying if there was like a timer element to this also. What went wrong there? I think you have to start with that. I think you have to fall down on this one, otherwise I think you're pretty doomed. So effectively I'm just practicing jumps. If I do anything else... Everything else can pretty much be solved. And then once you get to this spot, have we ever gotten this part done? I mean, it's really just a matter of making sure you've stepped on the right spot, and you can just fall off very easily and do the rest of this, reducing the number of jumps. And then your last challenge is the long jumps. And if you fail the long jumps, I don't think you're likely to have a backup plan. We can certainly try. Doing that. This is going to be annoying because I'm going to potentially have every single one lit up except for the one there, which I guess long jump to that. I can't hit those, but I can get those later. So long jump to that. Jump on that. Oh, I can't hit these. Oh, I'm so close. I think I have everything lit up except for this row. Let's just walk around and see if that's actually the case or if I actually missed something. This is why you need that hologram, is that if there was just a glowing, more of a glow than just an edge glow to indicate whether something was lit up or not. Okay. That's lit up. These I don't think are lit up. And this maybe glows just slightly more than that. If I could get maybe a long jump up to that, then I could get up there. But I can't. So I'd have to hit this platform. So if I just not hit this platform, that would have given me the backup that I needed. And clearly not everything is lit, otherwise the battery would just be exposed. And there's no other option, so... I guess the question is, did I really need to drop down to hit anything? Or would it even make it easier to drop down and hit anything? I don't think it does. so we're gonna just hit this, start again. Alright. Hit this, hit this, hit this. Then we really don't need this at that point. Hit that one. Did we tap it, or is that lit? No. Can we recover from that? Yes. Interesting. I don't really need the long jump to hit that or hit that one, but whatever. Ooh, I might be in trouble now. Okay. There's one here. Then I'm gonna have to long jump over to that. That one. No real problem there. I think we may have this. It's just going to come down to these last few long jumps. What happened there? I walked too close to an edge, apparently. Really wish I had some less repetitive way of saying it, but boy, does this change your gameplay mechanic far more than I think most people would appreciate, particularly puzzle fans. So it may just be a case that it's just too much change, too much variety. That would explain why the new version of the game doesn't have any of this. See, I have this obviously a bad habit here of backing up, and sometimes backing up I think is registering. Also, I just think the double jumps. So holding down the space button is causing that to happen. And I do think there are probably multiple paths and solutions, and I don't think any of them really matter as far as the order in which you jump on things. It's just going to be try to be straight in the center, don't leave or double jump until you have, I guess that could just be straight a long jump this direction, and then a long jump that direction, although that actually is adding jumps. When I need to actually reduce the amount of jumps as much as possible. Every jump is an opportunity for failure. And there's quite a lot of places here where you're not going to be given a choice. Not a lot of places here where you can just naturally walk. Okay, so we've lost all the long jumps over here, so if I'm going to recover from that, now here's your second opportunity. It kind of doesn't matter if I hit that one at the moment. Stay in the center. Get your run going. Okay, I'm probably doomed at this point. Would there be a way to recover? Not really. If I was making a game that was going to have this gameplay mechanic, I could see taking some pity on the player and maybe lighting up a few places after a few failures, or allowing the player to admit defeat. Yeah. There's just no way to get up here. Which I could have had a way to get up here if I hadn't stood on this one. So I am now recognizing that there are double options to if you fall in a few places. And I just need to not eliminate those double options. We'll just walk around a lot of the places where things could be stepped on later. I'll get... yep, I may be doomed here. May not be. I'll have to long jump from this spot to hit that spot. Then line up, long jump from that spot to that spot. Okay. Then I don't want to touch this cube. Instead I want to jump here. And then I want to jump up here. Which that too was another option that I've now eliminated. Stupidly. So I should do this middle section later. Could I jump from this spot to that spot? Maybe. So let's just leave it. We can always touch it later. Okay. We missed that jump yet again, but we have multiple options to recover. Now, we could still screw this up terribly. Certainly no guarantee of success. We had a glitchy double jump. But you know what? Forget it. Let's get this part done first. And then... So I guess the question is, do I want to attempt to jump over? That worked. Okay. Let's not get too quick and accidentally miss something. while we're doing the rest of this. Oh, I'm in trouble now. I have one last chance to hit this. Got it. And we've got all of these lit up now. It's still too early to celebrate, but I do think we have a decent chance of success. I almost screwed it up there, where I would have caught the edge of a square and then possibly fallen off the edge of the square. And we don't have to long jump or attempt to long jump on any of these. So let's hit that one. So now it's just going to be a question about where are the remaining squares that aren't lit up. I think they are simply here. Oh no. I don't think we succeeded there. In the last second, I must have double jumped. It would be incredibly unfair if there was actually a system here that prevented the player from winning unless he was absolutely on the right final spot, which would likely be that one. That would suck, certainly. I eliminated a possibility. So let's make sure that jump works. So this half, I think, is done. Double jump again. Or double jump again. My patience, I think, is running out. And as such, I think I'm probably playing worse. The floatiness of the controls, I would also say, contribute to some wonkiness. Oh, we're in trouble now. Can I long jump all the way over? I lucked into that. As long as the ones I'm skipping aren't high up in here, I think I can do this. Like, I can jump up and hit that one, but then that eliminated an opportunity to get up there by doing that, so that was dumb to do that at the moment. So move. Nope, I'm doomed. There's no other way to get up. Noticeably, there's no like consistent pattern happening here either that I'm following. I'm going around somewhat trying to repeat the same actions, but I'm also changing things up every time too. The first move should be to try and get all of these pieces lit up, because these long jumps are going to be the most difficult. It almost feels like instead of them it kind of glitching and thinking that there's a double jump, that it is instead just picking random squares to be wrong squares. Squares that you will get penalized if you jump on them. But that would be so incredibly crazy if it really was working that way. I guess some of these squares are not too tall. Whoops, I didn't hit the shift button there. So I guess I can recover from this. Maybe there's a logic I'm not following here. Maybe you can't go from higher to lower on the puzzles. Without touching the ground, maybe? No, I went from higher to lower in that case. Just fine. I'm just barreling through this now. This is a problem. My patience is exhausted. I've been playing the game for long enough that I can feel the exhaustion level there. Which way can you even go from if you make this jump? The next thing to do would be to continue to jump forward, I guess. And then next thing to do would be to run and jump this way. Then run and jump this way. I missed one, but I have some opportunity to recover, although the opportunity is actually pretty poor. Because I've got to run and jump this way, and then walk here and walk here. And then without touching this square, I'm gonna have to run and jump that way and hope I can land in a diagonal jump. And then I'm gonna have to run and jump back this way. And that didn't work. Which means now I have to jump up to that, and that should have been a run and jump too, and that didn't work. Which means I don't think there's any way to recover at this point. And good enough is not good enough. What if I was to jump and try and land on this? Let's ask that question. So we have one lit up. Now it seems like just crossing the barrier at all is more than enough to reset it. So take the extra advantage of being higher up and do these long jumps first. That makes a lot of sense. And then we'll do the rest of this. If you had broken this puzzle into 3 or 4 different pieces, that would have worked better too. There was just kind of a slight checkpoint. Having to do it all seems weird. And if I figured out a perfect pattern, I would just go in that same pattern in circles. I wouldn't really call this a full loop as much as different paths that you can pick from. I don't think we need to get back up in the center section, so I can probably land on that one. Yep. This definitely would have been the case, well, frankly, about 30 minutes ago would have been the case for them to start playing some music other than the one extremely subtle sound effect they are playing right now. Okay, I fell off there. But the good news is I think pretty close to being done. Just some standard, but it didn't work. I think we've hit a point probably where I do need to just play those off screen. In particular, I am just gonna have to brute force this. I don't want to concede defeat, but also I am not going to have anything more creative to say about this. If there's some trick to it, I'm not getting it, and it definitely is not giving me any hints to this. This is effectively me punishing myself, because at any point I could just walk through the door frame and enter the next true puzzle instead of doing this extra puzzle. And there's always that possibility still in the back of my head that I've already missed some large amount of collectibles. I think I've blown it there. And there is, of course, the danger. Well, I've probably blown it there. That the second I stop recording, I'll solve the puzzle on the first try, which isn't a big deal. Okay. I think pretty much that's the last one that needs to be lit up. And there's just no way we're going to hit that unless I could possibly hit just the edge of this and then double jump with this on a long run. Or somehow I could magically get up here and tap it. You'd think in the real world you could just jump up and slap your hand on it. But yeah. That's, I think, every single panel lit up. Actually, it looks like there's still quite a bit here that aren't lit up. But there's no other way to get up to that height to account for that. So unless the game was going to be generous and only require me to light up all but one light, all I'm really doing is wasting time and practicing. As far as I can tell, everything in the long jumps over here is lit up. Everything over here is lit up, with the exception of this one. Walking on the reflecting pool, walking on this doesn't reset anything. And that just reset everything when I got over there. And I will definitely just sit here and keep on trying if I let myself do it. well, that's good enough. That's, I think, more than good enough to say that this is the point here where I should stop this episode, go ahead and make a save, if the glitchy menu even wants to do that. Let me do that. And yeah, I'm going to stop the episode here. I'm going to play off screen and then solve this off screen, and then we'll start the next episode once I have this extra cube. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.